Well, hello and welcome to Lawn Theory, the podcast for lawn care professionals, bringing you lawn care professionals who have succeeded in this industry and content from others that help them achieve said success. Today, I'm very, very happy to bring you Aiden Silvers, a good friend of mine and a fantastic entrepreneur, to tell you a little bit about his story. Thank you for jumping on, Aiden.
No worries, Steven. I appreciate you having me, and I love to be here.
Now, Aiden is the man, the myth, the legend when it comes to any and all marketing for lawn and landscape businesses, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth. Aiden, would you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. To put it short, I am the founder and CEO of Green Marketing. We are a digital marketing agency that services exclusively green industry professionals. So anyone lawn care, landscaping, outdoor living and building, that sort of thing. That's our niche. That's our specialty. We have a staff of 19. We have basically moved into a model to where we're only providing comprehensive solutions. So if you're going to work with us, you're going to get a little bit of everything in order to get you the results that you're looking for. We are also the owners, or founders, creators of the Green Industry Gang, which is a community for the industry of professionals and currently a Facebook group of about 1,000 members. And we look forward to creating value at scale within that community and kind of help people navigate the industry.
Awesome, awesome. I know from firsthand experience how involved you are in these business owners' lives. People that pop to the top of my head are Adam Devine and several others. But what are some challenges you think business owners are facing this year when it comes to their marketing and how they grow their business?
I think the biggest challenge is they're not marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most smaller businesses, some even medium to larger businesses, rely solely on word of mouth. In their mind, they don't need marketing because they have good word of mouth, and that may be true that you're able to sustain your business, right? And get to a certain point. But people have to understand that word of mouth is the serendipity of the world, and the chance of Susie telling Sally that she needs a landscaper and then Sally liking you enough to say something, right? And that's not something that you can consistently scale with. And if you do have ambitions to grow a company and scale, what you really need is a bucket full of leads of the types of jobs that you want at all times. That way, when you're ready to hire a new crew and you're ready to get a new truck and new equipment, you don't have to worry about how am I going to consistently fulfill on that and keep it at capacity because you have the leads figured out. And I've seen many, many times where people they do scale and they do get the additional crew and all the equipment involved with that. And they kind of work in that backlog of leads that they had from word of mouth for a month or so. And then they complete it. They finish working with the backlog. Now they're waiting for more leads to come in and it's not happening at the rate they need. So they scale back and they kind of take a hit, right? Because they don't have the consistency. So I think the biggest challenge is to get people to understand you should be marketing at your busiest time. Like put the foot on the gas because the alternative is market when you're desperate. And that's just not a good concept of throwing a Hail Mary and saying, hey, Aiden, like save my business, right?
Yeah, which I'm sure you get a lot of, especially during some hard times. People just assume that you can fix everything, but kind of what I'm hearing is like consistency is key through everything you do as a business and getting in that growth mindset and not the scarcity mindset. I know a lot of people will typically come on podcasts and they'll say, well, what is your one piece of free advice? Which I personally hate because I think when you ask for that one piece of free advice, it's just a small piece to a larger puzzle. And the best road to success is typically creating value not only for your business, but for the business owners that are serving you in the community, because free is not always free and free is not always best. And so, with that, kind of what are some strategies you guys put in place for targeting homeowners? And you had mentioned getting them the jobs that they want. Is that a lot of social media ads on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok? Or what kind of mediums do you guys like to play in when like a new business owner comes on and signs up for your service?
Yeah, great question. And I'm a big believer in karma and paying it forward and, reaping what you sow. I'm not the type of person that's going to dangle a carrot in front of you and say, hey, here's a snippet of value. And if you sign up today, you'll learn more. Like,
Yep.
I'll tell you whatever you want. If you want to send me a message on Facebook or schedule a call and say, Aiden, what do I need to do to grow? Like, I'll tell you because I know you will remember that and you'll have a good reputation with us and you'll be able to refer us and hold us high authority, right? So to answer your questions about strategic ways of targeting your specific audience, that really is the beauty of digital marketing, right? Things like Google and social media, Facebook, and all these different platforms. They have a lot of targeting capabilities, and I joke with people when I tell them about the way we can target and get very narrow and granular with it. I say if you want to target 70-year-old women with 8 cats who's a Republican and makes $100,000 a year, like we can do that.
Yeah.
And so that's just an example of like if you know your ideal customer, we have abilities and capabilities to target that person. The other beautiful thing is if you don't know your ideal customer, the data and the feedback and insights that we're going to get from Google Ads and social media is going to tell us who's more likely to hire you and who's more likely to pay the higher end prices that you're asking for, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great answer. So my next question kind of leads into, all right, so we know who they are, we know where to find them. What are some best practices for like ad budgets for business owners, especially during kind of these uncertain times where gas is still expensive, fertilizer still is expensive. I'm in the opinion of your most important asset is your leads, that marketing funnel, and that you should never prioritize, in my opinion, you should never prioritize buying a new piece of equipment over decreasing your ad spend, because that'll help you in the bad times. But kind of what is your thought process on that, and what do you guys as a business like to recommend to clients?
Right, right. And it may sound a little biased coming from me, the marketing guy, talking about like leads is your number one priority, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, but honestly, in reality, the biggest thing, the biggest asset in business is cash flow, right? Like you need the money coming in to be able to do certain things and hire certain people and pay for software and tools and equipment, whatever it may be. You have overhead. So you need that cash flow, and it's pretty basic. Like, how do you get cash flow? Through leads and conversions and new clients, right? And how do you get that? It's through marketing. So putting it in that very basic framework helps a lot of people understand, like, in order to not only sustain the business comfortably, but also to scale the business, a tangible effort, aka marketing, is kind of necessary for that. And to all the guys out there that say, I've been doing this for 20 plus years and we're, well known in our area, whatever. Like that's phenomenal for you. For one, I can guarantee you that if you did market, you would do way better. It's just the basic laws of life, right? And if you have to also understand that not everybody has been around for 20 plus years and you're a small town with 20,000 people, right? So, you know, during this time of economic uncertainty, I think it's the time to go all in. This is just my personal personality, right? Like who I am. I see a vulnerability, I dive right into it. Vulnerability meaning vulnerability in the market, because when people are afraid and they're fear based, they're going to scale back. That means that there's a lot more market share to capitalize on. And when you think about stocks, very similar mindset, right? The whole idea of Warren Buffett saying, like, when everyone's afraid, buy. When everything
Yeah.
is good, sell, type of deal, right?
Yeah.
So when everyone's afraid in the market, like go all in. You don't even have to go all in, just go more in than you usually do. And I even think the same way about the off season. Everyone's thinking that they should stop marketing when the off season hits, and what they don't realize is like, okay, everybody else in the grandma stops marketing too. So if I do market, that means I'm gonna get way more attention, way more awareness. I'm not selling jobs, but what I'm doing is when season hit, people have seen me 20 billion times in every platform, and I got the head start. right? Like I have the trust, I have the awareness, I have the attention of the community. And when they're gonna look for a service provider, not only are they gonna remember us, but when they do see an ad that when they're running, it's gonna be a piece of cake,
Yeah.
right? Like you get that head start, that jump in front of your competition. So yeah, I think the most important thing is the cash flow and figuring out how to continue to make that consistent and growable. And honestly, it just kind of correlates to your marketing.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The other thing that I always tell our business owners is when they're in the off season, you shouldn't be doing the reverse teacher, right? I know a lot of the industry, as soon as the winter hits, they just stop and they relax, which relaxing is important and recharging is important. However, there's so many things you can be doing to get in front of those same customers that your competition is not doing. You hit on the marketing side, but also those additional services of snow removal, hanging Christmas lights, any things in those types of realms get you in front of those same homeowners to where once it comes spring and they're looking for a service provider, they remember Joey came out and installed their Christmas lights, or Joey came out and moved some snow. They just remember a lot more of their interactions with the homeowners that they otherwise would not have had. And I think that's like you said, especially marketing in the off season, um, is super important, and also doing additional services or even random acts of kindness, right? Just to get in front of customers, get in front of homeowners, and remind them you exist, because they do forget you exist. But you're absolutely right. As soon as the end of April comes and it hits 80 degrees and you're sweaty and miserable as a homeowner, you're going to remember who came out to help you.
Yeah, 100%. You know, being that all around provider is amazing. Being in front of everyone all the time is amazing. It really is just about existing, right? If you're not in front of the people that are going to hire you, you don't exist. You have to do it consistently. They're going to forget about you. And then they're going to see Jim Bob, the truck in the truck, go by and be like, oh, I could, use my lawn cat or whatever. Like, that's the way that life works. We're a very short attention span, and we gotta be reminded constantly about things. And to your point of like during off season, getting snow work and Christmas lights, one of the main reasons why people don't do that is because they don't have leads for it,
Yeah.
right? If you have marketing, like you have leads for that. But it's also important to know you want to start marketing like way before you actually need the leads to come in. I mean, that's why our busiest season at our agency is like December, October, December,
Yeah.
January, because the people that think about it logically, they're like, okay, if I want to do good in the season, I need to get marketing started now. That way we can get some momentum. And when season hits, my website's built, my ads are running, I have more reviews, my social media looks good, right? Instead of like, oh, it's 4 days into the season. Let me call up Aiden and see if he can make me a millionaire tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we've talked a little bit about the kind of the industry, when to invest in marketing, when not to invest in marketing, how important do you think a website, social media presence, those kind of fundamental building blocks of people who may not have that yet, how important do you think having a website is, or a social media?
Right. So first of all, this answer is all everything I say is generally speaking, right? You're gonna have occasions where it's not for you. Again, if you're the guy who's been in business for 20 years and word of mouth and right, you're doing really well, like this obviously doesn't pertain to you if you don't want to grow and scale. Most people are in business to grow and scale and do great things and chase the dream, right? Create a good future for them and their family. And so if you're under that mindset and you're not to that point yet, then you're going to want to do things that help get you to that point. And if you're not online, your business is not online, you are so far in the past that it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Like we're getting ready in the next 5 or 10 years to go into things like blockchain and virtual reality and augmented reality and all these different technologies that the marketing is going to end up shifting to. So right now, if not even to mention like voice, right? Voice technology. Like if I don't want to say her name because she'll light up, but the Amazon lady, if I ask her, hey, who's the nearest lawn care person near me, right? And she might even do that now. People just aren't used to that. she'll give you the answer of who to use. Here's the reviews and reputation. Like we're moving really quickly with our tech, and if you're not on social media, if you're not on Google, if you don't have a website, if you're not getting reviews, like these are things that are a must for people with ambitions to grow their business. If you're not on it, like you're not only behind the curve, but when the innovation does come, it's going to be compared to like you're going to be in the newspaper still,
Yeah.
right? Like so right now, your number one priority should be dominating Google because whenever somebody needs a service provider, what's the first thing they do? They Google it, right? And it gets so much traffic that it's bonkers. Some people don't realize. We're not talking about like a couple looks a day. We're talking like hundreds of searches a day, right? Thousands in months, tens and thousands in a month on average in bigger areas. So sometimes even 100+ thousand, right? Being in front of those searchers is going to give you opportunity at scale, at large. And then, your social media presence is huge, building that trust with your community, the awareness, the following, the engagement, actual people instead of that massive robotic corporation that nobody likes. And your website is really is your hub of all this. Everything feeds back to it, right? Your social media, your Google search results, your pictures, your quality of work, your blog articles, your features, like your SEO, it all goes back to your website, kind of like a Death Star. And you can imagine, just like everything else in life, you can imagine with everything else in life, there's a very big spectrum of skill.
Yeah.
And so you got guys that build hardscapes and do outdoor living, and you have people like Timothy McCoffle, who is just like a god, right? And then you have people that think they know what they're doing and they're just like building toothpicks, paper houses like outside, right?
Yeah.
Like, not too good. And that's fine. Everybody starts somewhere, but same thing with websites. But the issue is with websites, it's more based on the technical side. So your website could look great. You could spend 2, 3 hours on Wix building this site that looks amazing. It doesn't have any functionality or technicality to rank well with Google. It doesn't have any targeting or tracking capabilities, right? It might not even be responsive on mobile devices. The speed is slow. There's a lot of things that you're not going to know because you don't know what to look for, right? But that doesn't mean it's not important. And it's one of those things where you really need an expert to trust to do it for you, unless you're going to dedicate your life to figuring it out, which it's just unrealistic, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. So now that we've covered that and we're kind of getting in towards the tail end of everything, what is the biggest advice that you can give to small to medium sized business owners in the green industry? Like if you could impart one nugget of wisdom to them that could help get them to the next step, what would that be?
Sure. So let me give the objective, and then I'm going to give how you reach that objective. The objective is going to be get yourself to a revenue of about, for us, we recommend a minimum of about 200,000 a year gross. That's a minimum, so you might not even feel comfortable then. Maybe it needs to be a little more, but get to that level of revenue, and then find an agency like us that is an authority in your niche. And what that means is they work only with people exclusively in your industry, like not dog groomers and doctors and lawyers. They understand all the nuances about your niche and they have solutions that solve the problems in your industry. Right? You're going to find the authority in your industry. And the way you do that is you're going to look at the reviews, you're going to look at their reputation. And the reason you're doing this is because if they mess up, you want their reputation to take a direct hit because that holds them accountable. If they don't have that, they could be the worst company in the world, take all your money and run away. Nobody would ever know. Why would they care? Right? Why would
Yeah.
this company care? So find the authority with a great reputation that cares about reputation and partner up with them to do your marketing. That's going to be the objective. The way to get to that point is you're going to have to hustle it up a little bit. I say pretty often that we have a few different currencies in life. We have time, we have money, and we have energy. So time and energy can kind of directly correlate. But if you don't have a lot of money to invest, you should have a lot of time to invest and energy to invest. If you don't have a lot of time to invest, you should have a lot of money to invest, right? If you don't have either, then you need to reevaluate. You're doing something wrong. And it's just kind of the basic mathematics of business. So you should have a lot of time on your hands or a decent amount of time. And you're going to need to hustle it up and do some real marketing and, kind of the realm of door knocking, right? It doesn't need to be specifically door knocking. A tactic that we've used to scale our agency is joining groups on Facebook that are relevant to our audience. So for us, we've joined groups where there's tens of thousands of business landscaping business owners, right? And we network with them and we talk to them and we build relationships. We're not like, hey, buy our marketing services. That's not even a thought. We're getting to know them. People are getting to know us, and eventually they're just going to see what we do, and we'll have that relationship, and maybe they'll give us a shot, right? So join your local community groups on Facebook for your local areas. Don't go in there slinging pictures of you mowing grass, talking about $30 a week, whatever. Like, take human pictures, videos, content, be a part of the community, talk about your day, share a little bit about yourself, your family, man, whatever. Here's your ambitions. Get to know people, and it's going to spread. And eventually, they're going to want to support you. And not only are they going to hire you, but then they're going to post about you in that group that they found you in. They're going to share the love and just the humanity, right? Like, we gotta get out of the mindset of I'm here to hard sell you on a service, get more into the mindset of I want to build up my network and my relationships, and through that, again, it's just a thing of karma, right?
Yeah.
Like, put good out, you're gonna get good in return, you reap what you sow. So that's free. I mean, Facebook groups are free.
Yes,
Get in
sir.
their network. Social media is free. It takes a little bit of time. So do things that take up some of your time in order to equal revenue and growth until you can afford to hire someone like us to do it with more advanced digital marketing, right?
Amen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Aiden is a wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much for spending time with us today. Aiden, before you leave, everyone who comes on the podcast that I get the honor of interviewing, I leave you with my last personal would you rather question. Are you ready?
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Would you rather have a time machine or be able to teleport?
You know, that's a good question. I think I have the answer to it. I would definitely have a time machine. So here's my logic. I would say teleport. I My girlfriend's in the Philippines. We've been in a relationship for over 2 years. I would love to teleport to her. But in theory, if I had a time machine and went back to the days of Bitcoin just starting, put all my money in there, I'd be the richest man in the world. I could literally buy the Philippines and do whatever I want. Right. So that's my logic behind the time machine. Plus, I mean, who wouldn't want to go back in time and see like incredible moments in history and um be a part of that, right? Like, time machine is definitely the way to go.
Yep, yep. I completely agree. And my logic behind it also is our theory of a time machine technically is also a teleporter, right? You always see a video of someone getting in a time machine and going back to those historical times. So technically, I could just go back one day, bam, you're in the Philippines, right? Relive your 24
Right.
hours, and you go on with life. So
Absolutely.
the
So I solved the puzzle.
you did. You broke the internet. So the thank you so much, Aiden, for spending time with us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for listening. If you have any comments, questions, or you want to get a hold of Aiden, you'll find that in the description below. But Aiden, what's a good way that they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I have a pretty open door policy. I communicate with all the interested prospects who want to work with us or who even want to talk with us. I'm the quote unquote salesman, even though I'm not going to sell you. Like, I'm the one who you're going to talk to. Very personal. So you can hit me up on Facebook, Aidan Silvers. You can send me an email, Aiden@greenmarketingfl.com. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open to talk with anyone and everyone. We want to do great things in this industry, and we have ambitions to be the number one marketing agency in the niche and go far beyond that and do some incredible things, especially with our community, which we would love to have you in the Green Industry Gang. Search us up on Facebook. And I do have to give mad respect and props to Stephen Warner, who is just an incredible human, and we share a lot of values, and I put him on a pedestal as a great leader who really is after bringing value to his audience and his clients and his subscribers and really everyone, right? Like, he's just out here to help people. So if you haven't, I would highly recommend just having that conversation with him. And I think that's something we fail to do, is have the conversations with people because we're afraid to get sold something. Like, you're not going to get sold anything talking to me or him. just talk with us and let's build a relationship.
Yes, sir. Hey, well, I appreciate that. I'm just trying to follow your lead. So again, we'll have all the links to get in touch with Aiden below. I love you, buddy. Thank you so much for spending time with me as much as you do and letting me be part of your journey. So we will see you all next time. Next time. Next time.